Hello friends, I hope you all will be fine and doing good. Today we are going to discuss about types of interview. What are the types of interview? In the previous video I have discussed about interview and the importance of interview. You can watch that video as well. The link is in the description. But if we talk about the types of interview, you may have faced that interviews which I have written on the screen, or you will face these interviews in your future. The first one is structured interview. Now, what is structured interview? An interviewer or researcher creates a set of interview questions in advance and are asked in the same order. It is also known as patterned interview, planned interview, or standardized interview. Means in this interview, the questions are already written. Now, its example can be taken when you apply for any job. Such kind of interviews are held. They ask your name, your father name, then the third question, like they say that what you used to do before this job. So it is what? It is planned interview. It is patterned interview. Questions are in front of them on the page. So they ask that questions. And the second one is open-ended interview. It is less formal and unstructured. In it, the interviewer encourages the candidate to speak freely. The interviewer poses broad, open-ended questions and encourages the applicant to talk freely. It is good for bringing applicants' personality, and it is used to test professional judgment. To strike a delicate balance between being friendly, remember that you are in a business situation. So it is what? It is called open-ended interview. And the third one is group interview. Group interview, it is a screening process where interviewer interviews multiple candidates at the same time. It is useful for judging interpersonal communication. Now, what is interpersonal communication? Intrapersonal communication, I have already made video on it. You can watch that video as well. The link is in the description. And they judge interpersonal communication. They tell them that how candidates relate to one another. Do they smile? Are they supportive of one another's comments? Do they try to score points at each other's expense? And the fourth type is stress interview or behavior interview. In it what happens? Do you know? In it the recruits see how you handle yourself under pressure. You might be subjected a long periods of silence, deliberate interpretations, and abrupt or even hostile reaction by the interviewer's criticism of your appearance. And the fifth one is what is video interview. Some special preparation employers try to cut travel costs. It's more popular in nowadays. You prepare a bit differently for a video interview. So it is mentioned by its name that an interview which is held by video call, that is video interview. And the sixth one is situational interview. Job seekers are asked to respond to a specific situation they may face on the job. These types of questions are designed to draw out more of your analytical and problem solving skills, as well as how you handle problems with short notice and minimal preparation. And the seventh type is panel interview. Several people are interviewing one candidate at the same time. One asks other, observe other, check his or her psychology. And the eighth one is what is male interview. Some organizers, what they do, they take candidate for lunch or dinner to interview him or her to get more information about the person, such as their manners and treatment of wait staff. And the ninth one is intelligence interview. The ability to understand your own emotions and the emotions of others. Sometimes the interviewers assess emotional intelligence through written psychological based tests. Such kind of interviews like this intelligence interviews are held in armed forces of any country. And the 10th point, the 10th type is face to face interview. Now, what is face to face? As it is also mentioned by its name, this type of interview can be a meeting between you and one member or staff or even two members. It means it doesn't mean that there should be one member, two members, or it can be more and more. And the 11th one, what is sequential interview? These are several interviews in turn with a different interviewer each time. Usually, each interviewer asks questions to get or to test different sets of competencies. If you are asked the same question, just make sure you answer each one as fully as the previous one or time. Means in this interview your personality is also judged, and in this interview it is judged that whether you lie or you are true, because they ask first question, then again they ask the same question after 15 questions later, after 20 questions later, just to know this, that whether you lie or you are true. And this 12th one, that is telephonic interview. It is an interview for employment conducted on the phone. It is often used to screen candidates in order to narrow the pool of applicants who will be invited for in-person interviews. It's also easy like telephonic interview, means questions are asked in this type of interview by telephone. And this last one, media interview. A media interview is a discussion involving questions and answers for the purpose of broadcast. It is distinct from one or from an informational. Means for getting information, like two persons are here in this interview. One is the news anchor or the person who interviews, and the second one can be any guest. So it is one kind of media interview in which they make their news, or that is broadcast. So I hope you have gotten today's lesson. If you have any query regarding types of interview or regarding interview topic, you can freely ask in comment section. It will be my pleasure to reply. Share this video if you have liked, and do subscribe channel for the latest videos about English and other interesting subjects. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.